Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about my favorite thing, blow dries. It's absolutely one of my favorite things to do in the salon. The history of the blow dry is really fascinating. In the late 1960s, Patrick Alès helped to invent the blow dry. The philosophy of his approach to hairdressing was, how do I keep the hair and the scalp healthy at the same time while creating a beautiful polish in the hair? Not all blow dries are created equal. Here at Janet St. Paul's Studio for Hair, one of our prized possessions is our blow dry. It can last up to 5-6 days if it's taken care of well at home. Okay, so let's talk about those 4 things within a blow dry that lasts 5-7 days. So talent and training can be combined into one. Talent, I feel really fortunate. We have 4 hairdressers from Manhattan with no less experience than 11 years here in Austin, Texas, in Janet St. Paul's Studio for Hair. The beauty is you don't have to be a hairdresser from New York to know how to give a good blow dry. We train all of our staff from grassroots up to the top on how to do this, and they are proficient in each one of their techniques. Training is everything at Janet St. Paul's Studio for Hair. It's been a cornerstone since I started the industry in New York, and it's followed us all the way here. Our team members work between 15 to 25 hours a week in training. We actually close the salon early, generally on Tuesdays, and do in-staff training every single week. Now we're going to talk about technique and tools. So first I'm going to start with Millésime, which is our new Color Protect line. This is a great lightweight detangler and incredible color protection. So I put a few pumps throughout Lynn's hair, and then I'm going to go ahead and brush it through. It's really important to make sure that you distribute the product really well. Then I'm going to follow up with my second favorite tool, which is defrisant. Defrisant has a beautiful history. It's been around for 50 years and it's never been reformulated. So needless to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I run about a nickel size through Lynn's hair, being pretty liberal. Nickel to a quarter size, depending on the weather outside. Then my last little potion is 1 pump of Phytolis serum. And I work that in the coarsest area, off the scalp down to the ends. The other tools that I love are the Twin Turbo 3500. This is the travel size. This is actually the dryer that we sell here. I adore it because for client use, it's very compact and lightweight, and the nose portion here is shorter, so it's not as hard when you're using it at home to maneuver it when you're working at your own body height. It's imperative to have your nozzle all the time. And believe it or not, I like taking a lot of the water out of Lynn's hair first and then coming back with a metal brush and smoothing it. This is quite contrary to what a lot of stylists are told. I like metal on Lynn's hair because it polishes the hair, but it also gives it really good body and lift at the root. One of the very first things that I do is I always start at the front of the hairline, especially when I'm working on a client. This is always the lightest weight area and needs the most help. So I start by lifting the hair away from the hairline, getting that first 1/8 of an inch smooth. If you notice, I'm pulling the hairline more vertically versus horizontally. This lifts the hairline. This helps to smooth the hairline much closer. The other little tip is that I always lift the root while I'm pre-drying the hair. So I make horizontal cross sections and I lift the hair away from the head. Most people would think Lynn has enough body on her own, but when you smooth very coarse curly hair and you don't leave lift at the root, it won't last 5 or 6 days. It'll get too flat. So now I'm taking some more water out of Lynn's hair with my hand, gently holding it away from the head, lifting it out away from the scalp. So I've had the pleasure of doing Lynn's hair before, and I know the texture pretty well. So I leave about 5 to 8% moisture in the back as I'm working, but the top and front, I start taking the water out up to maybe 60% before I put the brush in. On the front hairline, I often work on top of the hair, kind of flattening the root a little bit. Just to give natural movement, I might come underneath and lift a little. I come straight down to smooth, and then I really work mid-shaft to ends. Lynn has a little bit of gray in her hair, and this helps to smooth that mid-shaft to ends to a perfect polish. Then I grab this section horizontally. I drag it forward, and I roll back. This gives a natural movement to the hairline and shows off the haircut really well. Also, I don't use clips when I blow out hair unless the hair is very, very long and excessively thick. Not using a clip allows me to work with the hair and watch the natural body and not create any dents in the beautiful polish that we give it. So I've moved through the whole front hairline. Now I'm just polishing up a little bit, and then I'm going to head to the back. I've got a really beautiful polish happening through the front. And then the back, I'm actually going to add more root lift. One of the most strategic sections, top and mid-back. This is where you want some of the best root lift in the whole blow dry. So what I do is I smooth out the piece just a little bit. I have a little bit from the right and left side of the part. I lift up, and I'm also heating the root away from the scalp. This is contrary to how most people blow out hair, but this is the special sauce for sure. Okay, so I've just started the top crown and the center back of the blow dry. If you can see this little bit of volume that I've added to the root right here from the rest of the head, this is what helps it last so long. For a woman with very thick, heavy, coarse hair, when you lift the root off the head, you allow it to have a lightweight feeling and a moving texture. That is a big piece of the secret. That's what makes our blow dry so unique. Okay, my final step is our little secret weapon. Glossing Cream by Phyto is one of my favorite polishers. I just love it. So I use a little pea size, rub it on my hands, and then I come right off the scalp down to the ends. It helps to give a little bit of polish and also helps to hold the hair. Depending on the natural texture, I don't normally put hairspray in very curly, coarse, thick hair after I blow it out, especially if it's humid. Hairspray is not your friend. The lack quality in the hairspray tends to attract moisture. You're much better off with some kind of a polishing agent or finishing cream or a lightweight pomade. 2 great tips to help it last at home. Always use a shower cap when you get into the shower or a bathtub. Wrap it up really tight. If you're going to perspire, make sure right after exercising you dry the root a little bit. The other tip is you can use a little Phyto Volume Actif right at the root. It'll help to absorb any natural oil and give the root a little bit of lift when you put a little heat on it. I know everybody's going to wonder, how do I do this at home? The bottom line is it's very hard to do this at home on this kind of hair. So a couple of tricks that help you at home is to have a good blow dryer. I love ours, the Twin Turbo 3500 Super Compact. You have to have a nozzle, you have to have the right tools, brush and product, and you might be able to smooth around the face and get a little lift in the crown and smooth some of the pieces out in the back, but the reality is when your hair is this thick and this coarse, it's really impossible to get it this smooth at home. But we're always here for you. So even though I know this exact finish and polish is very hard for you to get at home on yourself, we're happy to help and we're happy to teach you. It's a huge part of our process here that all of our clients really understand their shape and style and haircut when they leave the salon. Okay, just a quick review on what we put in the hair that will help you when you are trying to blow your hair a lot or a little at home. So we started with Phyto Millésime. This is the new Color Protect Lightweight Detangler. Great sunscreen for the hair. We have Phyto Defrisant, Phyto Lisse, about a nickel to a quarter size on wet hair, 1 pump mid-shaft to ends of Phyto Lisse on wet hair. My favorite brush for thicker, coarser, curlier hair is our large ionic brush, which is metal, and you will take out a fair amount of water before you put this into use in your hair. If you have very fine hair, a spornet can sometimes help you smooth the very front of the face around the face frame. And then at the very end, for coarser, thicker hair textures, you want to use glossing cream, about a pea size. Glossing cream is not what I would use on fine hair. I would leave fine hair to its own accord after you're done.